Sumfest, tell me what about.
Spend up everything.
Could we get your comment on the festival?
The festival itself, wow. The lineup was really powerful, and the Reggae Sumfest management have succeeded in pulling in the largest crowd ever I think Reggae Sumfest has ever had, easily. I mean, you could barely get from one part of the park to the other park. I mean, this is definitely the most packed venue. I thought it was packed yesterday, but today is more packed, you know, as them say, 18,000 for yesterday and in the 20s this year. I mean, for today, Saturday. But the key thing is the Buju factor. We cannot ignore that. He was a drawing factor, a major draw, and from it was announced that he was going to be on this show after the stadium show, and I was there at the stadium show. We knew this was going to be a big show. In fact, I go as far to say that with this performance, he's stamped, he's reaffirmed his dominance, really, of the current reggae scene. And I will go as far as to say that amongst the terrestrial players and singers of instruments, that he is the king of reggae in the terrestrial plane. Of course, we know celestially is Bob Marley. But right now I'm saying he's the king. I'll go as far as to say that. He's stamped his authority, and he's stamped, you know, his dominance. He's shown his wide catalogue, and, you know, he's a deep thinker. And I like the Country for Sale. I like that song. That's something new that's added to the repertoire, you know? Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, I want to say maximum respect to Joe and the whole Sumfest crew. I mean, they really pulled it off. The organization, the stage is equal to what I've seen at Coachella, which is the biggest festival in the world in California, you know. So that's the whole organization, the lights, the sound, everything, absolutely incredible. And of course, the artists, you know what I mean? 2 generations ago, the voice of a generation was Bob Marley and Peter Tosh. 1 generation ago, the voice of a generation was Buju Banton. And this generation, the voice of the generation, as Protégé said tonight, is Chronix. So to basically have Chronix on one night and then Buju Banton tonight was just absolutely amazing. The 2 of them crushed it, and I mean, some of the best things I've seen, you know. Of course, last night we had the voice of a generation and also the new voice coming up, which was Coffee, and I thought Coffee was incredible. And my favorite new artist in reggae now is Coffee. Just the fire in her eyes when I saw her at Rebel Salute this year. And when you look in her eyes, it's just like a superstar's eyes. You know, she has something there that I don't see any other artist has. That's a new artist in Jamaica. And of course, Chronix with all those amazing songs, and Here Comes Trouble and all that. He totally destroyed it last night. And then to come tonight and see Buju go through all of his classics and starting with the dancehall thing to remember. In case some of you forgot, I invented this singing. I mean, come out with the raw, early dancehall stuff, and then slip into the spiritual stuff, you know. And then also he gave us all the spiritual, Not an Easy Road, Till Shiloh, all of those great songs. So Buju completely killed it. And then before that, Protégé came on, and it's the best I've ever seen Protégé. I've seen him perform around the world, in California and all that, but now his band is super tight. And he reminded the people, he said, I was here 7 years ago, and I've gotten a lot better. And the whole crowd went, yes, because I know back then he was just coming, but now he's really come, and the band is tight, and Protégé completely destroyed it. And for Chronix to come on with Protégé and they do it together, some of the best things I've seen. So big respect to Sumfest for tearing up the place.
And what I would say to add to what Wayne just said is that with the so-called reggae revival generation, I hate using that term, but for lack of a better term, that Dottie Bookman put together. But this reggae revivalist group has shown a unity, which I think is very healthy. So Protégé invites Chronix, and then we see Jesse Royal and so forth, you know. Janine is part of that group. Kabaka Pyramid is part of the group. So that union, I think, is very important symbolically, that in the reggae industry you can make it by having unity. You don't have to fight against your brother or your sister. It doesn't have to be only one at the expense of another. So that's an important lesson that this youth generation, the so-called reggae revivalists, have brought to the table, and I think that's to be pointed out. And as Wayne said, the combination of that generation, Chronix last night, then bringing Protégé, Janine this night, and then Buju, it's like you get a whole, you know, the whole package. And then Coffee, as you said, and then Leela Ike. Let's not miss out Leela Ike, who Protégé brought on, who I would say is just as talented as Coffee. And I see her breaking through as well.
So whereas we used to see the dancehall artists clashing, it's nice to see the new conscious generation meshing. So it's a clash instead of mesh instead of clash.
Yes. Yeah. Very well, very well.
Gentlemen, this is invaluable right here. There's nothing left to be said right now.
Maximum respect to Winfred.
Yeah, maximum respect to Winfred on stage. Big up every time.
A rich man's worth is in that. I don't hear you. Destruction of the poor. Yes. I cannot hear you. Destruction of our soul. Yes. My people, you are. Cause I am talking loud and clear. What did I say?